Good morning. Good morning. It's better. Thank you for your patience, thank you for your time, thank you for coming through to the first workshop as part of Poetry Africa. As you all know, today we're going to be doing 2 workshop sessions, one on writing, one on performance. My name is Mpumelelo Bernice. I was one of the poets who were very fortunate to travel with other Free State poets to Poetry Africa in Durban, and I will be your host for today. Before we start and get into the nitty-gritties of the workshop, I'd kindly like to ask that everyone moves closer to the stage. So I'm just going to give you guys a few minutes just to move the chairs and tables, just so it's an intimate session, and because you're in the dark, so we just want everyone to be visible. And once we've done that, then we'll continue with the next part of the program. Thank you.
Spoke with sincerity and clarity, loyalty and nobility were found in us humanity. It's okay.
I slept and dreamt of River Nile.
But how do I then speak with this great fear in me?
Dear body, thank you for hosting my spirit. What did I do to deserve it?
She sells herself cheap.
During lunchtime, my eyes were full of tears. After school, it was called after tears.
How patient should I be?
Our men have become bottle stores with all the emotions and fears they have bottled in.
Rich and trade.
Like amber nectar from a long-lost forest, eternal tears of the exiled gods of passion, resin escaping through the perforations of his pilgrimage, a distillation to pacify the power emanating from the timeless depths of his untamed beauty. To me, his child, he looked like a sculpture carved from umtumbo tea, with the precision and dedication of a master sculptor who does not need to see the chisel to remove the imperfections of life, to reveal the beauty that waits in the dense destiny of mysteries. My father, finely formed like the creation of the initiated artists from the early tribes of the sacred forests, whose only desire was to eternalize the forms they dreamt under the African sky of virgin singing stars, whose inspired confidence was collected in calabashes placed in strategic places in the landscape, determined through a geometry prescribed by the silent timbre of the ancestors. I can still feel the vibration of the modal rhythm of his measured tones. My father, this man whose charisma led grown men to fight zealously to claim the honor of responsibility for his farts. When he spoke, the trees trembled with respect. The scavenging dogs knew where to place their tails. But he could utter sounds that would seduce a cock to crow before shitting on the palm of his outstretched hand, the size of a palm frond. Then as the bird flapped its wings and descended with deference, he would mix its stipi into a paste with his pestle finger and rub it into the coin of ringworm on my wonder-struck head. With his head of fearless curls, lush like the orchards that fed the creatures, luxuriating in the extensive freedom of our ancestral lands, Bubesi, as he was crowned by the countless women who fainted at his feet, would recline to have his mane groomed of the lice of love with the tenderness he found in places where the water flowed, with an undulating energy that stilled the tremulous ripples of his unadulterated muscles. That's my father. Unlike my mother, who interpreted the dreams of women in labor as she delivered their babies into a world of uncertainty, my father thought sleep was a waste of time. So he was wide awake when the roaming spirits of the pregnant night shared episodes of their secret surveys of the terrain of timelessness. And so he lived without fear of any man or God, and was a God unto himself, bearing a silent terror in the perfect balance of his gait, of the lion of his name, his head held high to accentuate the refinement of his nostrils and the precipitous ambiguity of his cheeky smile, understood by women and children alone. I was told by my grandmother that her son wrestled with oxen as a young man, growing up on her farm at the Fountain of Fortitude, where he strengthened his voice by calling the long-horned beasts by their names of affection. Above the reverberation of the waterfall, his baritone would bounce off the walls of the ancient caves that kept the secret transcriptions of forgotten harmonies. Fresh on their ochre walls, he would rinse the red earth from his sweating torso. He would rinse the red earth from his sweating torso, repeating cascading refrains from under the rapidly tumbling water, and quietly revel in his cultivated mastery as the oxen tilted their noble heads in harmony with the polymetric tones of his manly voice. My father would return to the river of echoes many times, taking me to bathe in the glory of his grandmother's wealth and matriarchal wisdom. This morning, I rose from a vivid dream, and from across two oceans, I called my cousin with the gift of the light of white candles to ask him to remind me the name of the river. He told me it was called Nkunzi. Bull. I instantly remembered why my father named me Nkunzi. Sacred black bull, the memory of his death suffused my whole being. The family made a collection and bought a giant of a black bull from the hills of the Zulu that reached the heavens in the glory of their standing.
Do you remember? Do you remember the poignant confession growing beneath my CPU skin, which convinced me to swim against the highest of tides, until I started floating, lost in your sea of cosmic love? I eventually drowned, slowly and slowly, until I reached the depths of your broken heart. And even when I reached the depths of your broken heart, I still discovered enough oxygen for the both of us. Even in your brokenness, I still want to be with you more than the oxygen that lives in your temple. Because if broken crowns can still color, then your broken heart can still satisfy a lover like me. So let us heal together. Thank you.
From Humpty Dumpty to Humpty Bubbly generation. Dumela. I slept and dreamt of River Nile, woke up and saw it live when she smiled. I slept and dreamt of River Nile, woke up and saw it live when she smiled. I witnessed this river live. I saw Queen of Sheba live, slides of Makeda signs, Miriam Makeba's young vibes. I discovered definitions of fine, and to me, that's how beauty is defined. It starts from the mind. the soul, the spirit, then to the smile, only when she smiled.
Des mots, je n'ai que mes mots. Des mots, je n'ai que mes mots. Ayatollah, ayane, kadea kumaka la mesa. Ayatollah, ayane, kadea kumaka la mesa. Ayatollah, ayane, kadea kumaka la mesa. Et si les mots étaient ceux qui pouvaient juste prendre le chemin pour atteindre vos cœurs, et si mes mots étaient juste ce sentiment que nous partageons à l'instant, et si mes mots n'étaient que des mots, même si bien d'autres avant ont déploré ma terre et ses mots, et peut-être que mes paroles s'envoleront finalement comme ceux qui ont avant moi chanté et sensibilisé dans l'espoir de voir un jour notre rêve se réaliser. Mais ces mots sont ma façon à moi de changer les choses, et je les dirai jusqu'à l'usure, jusqu'à ce que l'Afrique ose changer les mentalités par la réflexion, ose évoluer d'elle-même avec courage et abnégation, ose se faire respecter du monde entier en déposant enfin toutes les armes, ose écouter le peuple, ose essuyer ses larmes, pour faire taire tous ceux qui disent que sous les tropiques la terre est maudite et prouver le contraire à ceux qui la décrivent comme une cité interdite. Bien d'autres avant moi ont déploré ma terre pour une évolution. Autant de supplications que d'appels à la révolution pour ma terre si peu considérée, si peu entendue, traitée comme une pauvre mendiante parce qu'elle a toujours la main tendue. Mais non, je ne suis pas le sud de l'Afrique, mais de ceux qui la maltraitent, de ceux qui y foutent le désordre actuel jusqu'à ceux qui ont jadis permis la traite, de ces dirigeants instigateurs de plans machiavéliques et guidés par la soif d'un pouvoir à la démesure diabolique et l'histoire liste d'emprisonner les efforts de Nelson Mandela. Si aucun Africain ne veut fournir l'effort d'aller au-delà, rien que pour briser la chaîne de nos démocraties monarques et mettre fin à ce cycle infernal dans lequel l'aile nous embarque. On accuse l'Occident d'avoir pillé nos ressources, nos forces et nos biens valeurs. C'est bien beau de rappeler aux autres leur passé coupable, mais pourquoi oublier à quel point nous-mêmes sommes responsables? Responsables d'avoir ouvert nos frontières et cautionné notre propre exploitation. Responsables d'avoir trahi nos fiers guerriers qui combattaient l'invasion. Responsables d'encourager tous nos cerveaux forts et bras forts à être candidats à l'évasion. Responsables de rester inertes et craintifs malgré notre ras-le-bol et d'encourager cette race de politiciens professionnels du vol, d'acheter les armes de ceux qui ne veulent pas d'une Afrique décidée. Savez-vous qu'ils feront faillite si un jour les Africains arrêtent enfin de se trucider? Je ne suis pas le sud de l'Afrique, mais de sa classe dirigeante, solidaire dans les erreurs communes à leur politique décourageante, occupée à dilapider les sous de l'État dans des caprices de sultan et qui traite le peuple avec un dédain et un mépris insultant. Ce même peuple qui reste terré dans la peur et les interdits et qui finit par croire ceux qui disent que l'Afrique est un sol maudit, à force d'écouter radio et télé marteler des informations tragiques de mon peuple, de mon continent, qui ne cherche qu'une pause, qu'une trêve, qu'un instant magique. Je ressens l'amertume de ma terre dégoûtée de boire le sang de sa progéniture. J'entends ses cris sous le poids de la torture, mais ne dit-on pas que tant qu'on a envie, il y a de l'espoir, alors comme vous tous, j'espère encore, et c'est la raison pour laquelle je dis des mots sans jamais être à bout. Des mots style révolutionnaire à la Kourouma Amadou, que je parle avec calme et sincérité, que je crache les vérités, que je revendique par le slam, que je serai pour réclamer, pas juste pour la gloire ou pour me faire acclamer. Parce qu'au commencement de tout était la parole, et qu'elle a décidé de prendre dans ma vie le premier rôle, en puisant sa source dans les profondeurs de nos âmes pour transformer nos pensées en ces paroles qu'avec vous, je partage. Et j'espère qu'en partant d'ici, j'aurai cueilli un petit peu de vos émotions et qu'en retour, vous aurez accepté de m'accueillir dans vos cœurs comme votre sœur. Thank you. So for the translation.